Before we get started, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so that you don't miss any of the content that is released by Go Collect. And if you're interested, head over to Regie Collects here on YouTube. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for the Go Collect speculation video. Stay tuned. Regie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and the host of the Go Collect speculation video. In this video, we are going to spend some time taking a look at 6 blog posts. And while I'm only going to be touching on the high points of these blog posts, I definitely want to encourage you to check them out in their entirety. The links to all of these posts are down in the description. Now, with that said, I definitely want to encourage you to head over to the Go Collect website, because on that website, there are other blog posts that I am not going to be covering in this video that you might enjoy as well. In this first blog post, my buddy Ariel actually takes some time to look at 10 modern creators that rocked 2019. He basically took a look back at some creators, specifically writers, artists, letterers, inkers that just did a fantastic job of putting out great content over the course of 2019. And I'll tell you, there are several creators that are on this list that I am huge fans of. And I'm only going to touch on a couple of them because I definitely want to encourage you guys to check out this list. And I will tell you, one of them is actually a former CIA agent. I honestly did not know this prior to reading this article, but again, these are some of the tidbits that you can actually pick up when you read these blog posts that have been sent in by bloggers. Another really great thing about this blog post that Ariel has done is that he's kind of woven in for each of these 10 creators that he talks about facts about them that most of us might not know about. And there's a couple of people on here like Chip Zdarsky that actually uses a pen name. He has a real name, but his pen name is actually Chip. And I did not know that. I just assumed that that was actually his real name. But again, that's one of the cool things about this blog post is that there are all these little tidbits that Ariel kind of sprinkles in there that again just provides you with a little bit of extra insight into who these creators actually are. But Chip Zdarsky is an extremely talented writer as well. I am reading more and more of his work, and the more that I read, the more I'm actually impressed by it. And again, he has a huge body of work like many of the other creators that are actually mentioned in this blog post. And so again, you may want to check this out because not only does he talk about Chip, but he also talks about the extremely talented Jonathan Hickman, probably one of my favorite writers right now because of what he has done for the X-Men. But again, these are just a couple of the creators that are highlighted in this blog post. It is definitely worth a read if you are interested in really, really talented people. So check it out. This next blog post, entitled "Store Exclusive Variants May Have Big Return Potential," is an interesting one because there are some people out there that don't really like variants. And there's another group of people out there that absolutely love variants. And then there's a group in between that just kind of dabbles in them just a little bit. But the blogger spends some time kind of making an argument why variants, specifically store variants, may have some speculation and investment potential in them. And he specifically highlights a couple of variants that you may want to check out. And one of them is associated with Null, specifically the Venom number 5 variant from Freddy's Comics. This is one that he highlights that people may want to check out because it actually features Null on the cover, which is actually pretty cool because Null is an absolutely captivating character that a lot of people really enjoy. The other variant that the blogger talks about is actually a comic Con exclusive variant, specifically the Spawn 300 Gold Foil variant. And so again, if you have any interest in variants, whether they be con variants or store exclusives, this may be an article that you want to check out just to make sure that you're taking in all the information so that you can make informed decisions about how you want to spend your money. One of the questions that I get on my channel a fair bit is who people should get to sign their comics. Personally, I am a fan of having my comics signed by the creators, specifically the writers or the artists, if I actually get a signature. Because I'm not crazy about signatures, and that is really personal preference, and it's really nothing other than that. But there are other folks out there that just enjoy signatures because that's what they're into, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But in this blog post entitled The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly Signature Series, the blogger takes some time to look at signing of comics, specifically by writers and artists and inkers and letterers and also by actors. And the ugly, I'll just tell you right now, the ugly is essentially where a writer does a sketch or a doodle on the comic. That is the ugly. And I've seen it. It is oftentimes not good, but at the end of the day, if you have an opportunity to meet a celebrity, to meet a creator that you really enjoy, you should absolutely get your comic signed and just enjoy that experience. But if you get a chance, you may want to check out this blog post. It is a fun one. The link to it is down in the description. So I hear a lot of different rumors about things that are actually happening with movies and with streaming services and things like this. But this rumor that is out there right now is not one that I've actually heard about. And maybe I need to do a little bit of research, but I have not heard this one. But the blogger in this case spends some time talking about the first appearances of a team known as the Secret Warriors. And this is a team that is actually led by Nick Fury. And if you believe that there is some potential for the Secret Warriors to actually make an appearance in the MCU on the Disney Plus streaming service or wherever it happens to be, you definitely want to check out this blog post. You want to familiarize yourself with these first appearances and to figure out if these are books that you actually want to pick up. The blogger, Matt Tuck, points out that now may be the time to actually pick up these first appearances of the team known as the Secret Warriors. And he says this because a lot of these books are relatively inexpensive right now, and there isn't a whole lot of noise out there and a whole lot of speculation, which means that you may be able to pick these books up relatively inexpensively. One of the first books that he highlights is a book called Secret War Number 2, and this was actually published in 2004. It is a gorgeous black cover comic. If you can find it in high grade, I say buy it, just because black covers are notorious for having spine ticks and just damage. But this is actually the first appearance of Daisy Johnson, also known as Quake. And what's interesting is that at a 9.8, this book has a 90-day fair market value of about $86, which is actually down from where it was in 2018, sitting at $107 FMV. Another book that the blogger points out is The Mighty Avengers number 13, and this book was actually published in 2008. Now, what's great about this one is that it actually has the debut of the team, but it also includes the first appearances of several of the characters that make up the Secret Warriors. There are two other books that are highlighted in this blog post, including Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme number 32 from 1991, and then also Secret Warriors number 4 from 2009. And again, we don't know whether these rumors are true or not, but these books are relatively inexpensive. And so if you want to speculate in this area, you may want to take a look at these books. I'll tell you that this next blog post is one that you probably want to take a look at if you are a fan of the Cosmic Ghost Rider or the Ghost Rider. There is a lot of excitement around Ghost Rider period, but specifically around the Cosmic Ghost Rider. And I'll tell you, I read this character's first appearance, picked up his books right off of the shelf, and I love the Cosmic Ghost Rider, and I would love to see him come to the MCU, but I don't know if it'll actually be the Cosmic Ghost Rider or some other iteration of the Ghost Rider. And that's actually the point of this blog post that Matt Tuck has put together, where he basically outlines the first appearances of some of the front runner Ghost Riders that could appear in the MCU. And we don't know whether it's going to be a movie or a streaming service, but if you dig the Ghost Riders, if you dig the Cosmic Ghost Rider, you may want to take a look at this blog post and also check out these first appearances to see if there is some speculation opportunity for you. One of the first books that Matt Tuck points out here is Marvel Spotlight number 5 from 1972. And this is actually the first appearance of the Ghost Rider known as Johnny Blaze. And he points out that this could potentially be the most obvious choice. Certainly Johnny isn't the first Ghost Rider, but in many ways he is one of the most popular iterations of the Ghost Rider. So the next Ghost Rider on the list is Danny Ketch, and he first appeared in Ghost Rider number 1 in 1990. And as I alluded to earlier in this segment, the very last Ghost Rider that is on the list is Cosmic Ghost Rider, who had his first appearance in Thanos number 13 from 2017. And Matt actually points out that Cosmic Ghost Rider could potentially be a long shot, but you never know what they might decide to do in the MCU. So again, if you have an interest in Ghost Riders, you might want to check out this blog post. This next blog post is near and dear to my heart because in it, Norman takes some time to do an analysis of Amazing Fantasy 15, My Grail, which is the first appearance of Spider-Man, aka Peter Parker. And this is actually a really solid blog post because Norman takes some time to basically look at the short-term returns associated with this comic, and he defines a short-term return as basically the first of this year through May of this year, and he looks at 4 grades, and he kind of just does a little bit of analysis on the last sales price, the census data, as well as the returns associated with Amazing Fantasy 15. And there's 2 numbers that really jump out at me. One of them is the 4.5 that sold for about $66,000, which is actually more than a 5.0, so that's a little strange. And then he also highlights that the 2.0 actually has a negative return associated with it. But if you look at this short-term data and you compare it to the long-term, i.e. 20-year data, what you might conclude is exactly what Norman concluded, is in that you cannot go wrong with making an investment in Amazing Fantasy 15. And fingers crossed, I may end up with this book at some point in my personal collection. With that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I want to thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this content, and I definitely want to encourage you to tune in next week when we get to do this all over again.